Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we're live. All right. Lunchtime Hangout live stream. See if some folks show up here. Oh, I'm so hungry. All right, I need to go in here so I can see your guys' chat. Hello. What's going on? We're going to talk about D&D today. See who shows up. I just felt like, there we go. Here it is. I got it. I'm going to turn my volume down. Let me get some feedback there. Sweet. Hello. Hello. 6 people are here. What's up, Rivers RPG? Hello. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. What's going on? It's, what is it? What's today? Wednesday? We're on Wednesday. We're on Wednesday. And yeah, I was like going to read some Curse of Strahd over my lunch break because I'm getting ready. My Sword Coast Guard group wants to play that bad boy at some point, so I'm starting to read up on it and whatnot. But I figure, Joshua Salt, hello, what up, dude? Boogie Joe, 394 questions, what up? Nicholson, hello. See, yes, it is Wednesday, but I was like, you know what? I might as well just like have a live stream as opposed to reading Curse of Strahd because I could do it any day. Deadpool, what up, dude? How you doing, man? Life is going well. See, I have to I do this, happens to me every time when I live stream on my iPad. All of the questions like disappear off the screen, and I can't I can scroll them. Oh, I just discovered that I can scroll through the questions after they disappear. Oh my gosh, my life has been changed. All right, here we go. All right, you guys got, what's going on? We got some questions and crap. Noveler, hello, welcome. Hola, ¿qué onda? ¿Cómo te va, vos? Hump day, yes, it's hump day. D-Dubs, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasa? Nada, estoy aburrido. Estoy aquí no trabajo y no quiero trabajar, ni quiero hacer nada. Tengo una entrevista hoy para un puesto y todo eso, así que hoy solo quiero descansar un poquito y dejar todas mis preocupaciones atrás, ¿me entendés? There we go. What I like for lunch? I don't know. I am doing well. We need to talk about something. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and this is going to be weird. So, what are we talking about? Oh, geez, pancake soup. You have a table full of power gamers. Oh man, I had a power gamer in my group not too long ago. He was in my group for a couple years, and finally left. And I'll tell you what, we were all so much happier once he was gone. Man, we were all like. And the game sessions go faster because he's not there arguing about every little thing that bogs everything down. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty cool. All right. Any tips about power gamers? I don't know, dude. They got to understand that they can't argue about every little thing. So okay, let's define power gamer because I think that there's possibly a misconception of the difference between a min-maxer and a power gamer, because there is a difference. A min-maxer is simply someone who wants to have an optimal character build. This person is concerned with having a character that is powerful, that is really cool, that can kill stuff really fast or has cool spells and stuff. That's like a min-maxer. They're going to have dump stats. They're going to look up combos with different classes and stuff. That's a min-maxer in my opinion. A min-maxer is not that big of a deal, fairly easy to deal with at the game table. But then but a min-maxer can turn into a power gamer. And what a power gamer is somebody who not only has that optimized character, but also is looking for every little advantage in the game world. And the power gamer is going to argue with the dungeon master about every little thing, trying to get every little inch of advantage. Instead of being able to hack through a saddle with 2 blows, the power gamer wants to do it with 1 blow. And he'll get into arguments with the dungeon master about little things like that. And so that's a power gamer. And the way to deal with a power gamer is, that has to stop. They can't argue with you about every little thing because it bogs down the game session, and you need to talk with them about that and they need to get that under control. Because if they can't and they're constantly arguing with you, I can't. I'm gonna eventually get fed up and I'm gonna be like, dude, fix your fixation on power gaming, or you're gonna have to go. So I don't know. Those are some thoughts on it. Rabbit, hello, how's it going, man? This is my finger over the camera because I have to scroll through chat to see. Okay, I can actually do it on this side, and then you guys don't see my finger over there. That's cool. All right. What I like for lunch. I had some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch because I I'm like, I usually eat like a bunch of potatoes and cabbage and carrots and other like boiled vegetables and stuff when I'm here at work, and there were none available this morning, so I had sandwiches, man. All right, buffering. Shadow Nebula, hello. I started my D&D journey after finding your channel. Thank you. I love your channel. How did you find the game? Cool. I'm glad you like it. And my face is huge too, because like usually when I frame myself, I like to frame myself where you can see some of my shoulders and stuff, you know. But the way my iPad works, like to be able to like swipe and stuff, I have to be close. So this is a really weird framing for me. I'm like a video film, not film. I'm more of like a video like snob. So like when I see bad framing and my head's getting cut off, that causes psychological problems for me. Distraction right there. Hold on a second. How did I find the game? So Shadow Nebula, I found the game because I started reading some D&D books. Streams of Silver by R.A. Salvatore was the first book I ever read for D&D. I started reading those books, and then one day my grandma took me to a used bookshop downtown area, and I picked up this book that said D&D on it because I had been reading the Forgotten Realms stories by R.A. Salvatore that said D&D on them, and I picked up this bigger book, and I'm like, oh, it says D&D, this must be really cool. And I took it home, and I started reading it. It was one of the big size books, you know. It was a manual. It was one of the core rule books, and I was like, holy crap, this is a game? No way. And so then I figured out that D&D was a game, not just a bunch of books I was reading. And then I got my brother to play D&D, and then some friends at high school, and that's where it all began. So yeah, that is my beginning D&D story. What do I think of homebrew races? I think no, thank you, goodbye. I don't like homebrew races. Usually you find a homebrew race that's like way overpowered and crap, and you know, they have to be toned down. They have to be brought into proper balance with other classes and stuff. Justin Bovey, what up, dude? Yeah, Justin, you were at my last time I did. Either you were here last Friday when I did a live stream, or you were on my live stream like last week when I did a lunchtime one. Father Jonathan, I've got a player who's gotten 5 of his characters killed off and is losing interest in the game. Is there any way I can help make something my game too easy for the rest? I don't know what that meant. So I would talk with him and try to figure out like what is it that he's losing interest in the game? What's the reason he's losing interest in the game? Is it because the game's too hard and he's getting killed off or something? You got to figure out why he's losing interest and then take steps to mitigate that or to get him more interested. If he's being reckless and making dumb decisions and that's what's causing him to be killed, well then that's kind of on him, you know. And you could probably try to walk through some of that. If it's because you're running through a very difficult module that's super challenging and stuff, then, you know, that's another thing too. You can talk with him and another player. Ultimately though, dude, here's the thing. You want to run a game that appeals to like the majority of your players. If you get too much into like only worrying about pleasing one person, then there's a danger that you're going to be like running a game that most of the other people don't like, you know, so there's a balance there. Like you can only give one player so much. He has to meet you halfway. He can't be so needy that the game has to perfectly fit what he wants, you know, because then you're probably going to be running a game that lots of other people don't like, you know. So there's got to be a compromise there. He's got to meet you halfway on that. All right, I'm got to scroll back. Trying to find, okay. Deadpool says, I have a player who's neutral and only cares about what the group gets and not about the honor of a quest. Whereas I have a Kupik, if honor-bound character, I don't know what that. Well, you have a couple of honor-bound characters. How would you explain that both are okay? I mean, both are okay. You have to, as a dungeon master, like, I would present your hooks and stuff so that it appeals to both types, right? There's got to be doing the right thing that appeals to the honor-bound people, but there also has to be rewards involved. And I've gone out to just explain to some of my players that, look at, you know, the upfront reward that an NPC is offering you isn't usually going to be that good because there's going to be lots of stuff that you find in the dungeons that are way better than what they're rewarding to you. So you need to know, as an adventurer, as a professional adventurer, you should know that there are tons of things you're going to get in the dungeon that are going to be money, power, magic, blah, 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 whatever. And so it's fine to just metagame a little bit and explain to the player, make sure, I mean, your character would know that like a lot of the reward from being an adventurer is in the dungeon going on these missions. So even if you're helping some goody two-shoes do some stuff that you don't care about, you know that along the way you're going to get the stuff you actually want in the dungeon or whatever. So yeah, I have never played Subnautica Commander, therefore I don't know how to make it into a D&D adventure. Cool, I'm glad that was helpful, Pancake Soup. How does pancake soup work? Is that like imagining it's like the soup is the syrup, and so you have so much syrup that your pancakes are pretty much a soup. I don't know if my stomach can handle that. It'd be like sugar overload. Roho. I did it again. This is the second or third time. Ro H. This is like at least the second time I've seen your name and said Roho. All right, potato. How do you find a group when you're in the middle of nowhere? You get Nicole play online. Roll20 has a forum, I'm pretty sure, I think integrated into their platform where you can find groups, people looking for groups. Reddit has a subreddit called //LFG. You can find groups there. They're mostly on, I mean, you're going to be looking at online groups if you're in the middle of nowhere. But those are two really good options for you. But you're going to be playing online, and Roll20 is a good platform. A lot of people use Discord as well, especially for like voice chat, you know. So it's a good platform. You're going to be playing online probably, or you're gonna rope people into playing, get your friends to play and stuff, which may be more or less satisfying depending on how that goes. Row H says, next time you find yourself as a player in a game, what kind of character do you want to play? Paladin, because I just died. One of my characters just died again in my Descent to Avernus game. So we're playing Descent to Avernus, and like I've died twice now, and we're like I think we're level 3. Are we level 3? I die a lot. I'm a very reckless player. I expect to die. And so now my next character I think is a paladin. So that's what I'm looking forward to playing. I'm real muffled. So Jason, what's going to happen here is I'm doing this over my iPad, and I am in a very acoustically bad room. Like the room I'm in is mostly bare walls, so they're flat, hard surfaces, and they're going to echo the crap out of things. And I'm using a really crappy microphone right here on my iPod, and so yes, the audio quality is going to be very bad. That is unfortunately the what do you want to call it? The reality of the circumstances which we are confronted with today. Hey King, what up, dude? You're in class, but a teacher hasn't arrived. I have not read Dragonlance. How do I deal with players who want to multi-class? Well, Jacinto, I let them multi-class. Are you for or against it? I am for it. I find that some of my group most of the time forget half of their skills and feats. Yep, and that's their problem. Don't worry about it. You just go on your happy little path as a dungeon master, running your adventures. Let them forget half of their feats. Let them forget half of their spells. They forget all about them. It's like the magic item that's in their backpack that they forget that they had. You just go along your happy path. And they wake up like 2 months later and it's like, I'm a rogue. I can sneak. Then it's like, yeah, you can, dude. Like, read the player handbook and stuff. It might help you out there, buddy. I don't worry about it, man. I run like a casual game right now at work on Thursdays, and 2 or 3 of the players are new to D&D, and they forget most of the stuff they can do. I don't worry about it. Either they're going to remember or they're not, or another player is going to help them, not remind them. But it's not my responsibility. I can encourage them to read the rule books and stuff, but if they're just casual and they don't care, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just play the game. They're still going to have fun. Everybody's still going to have fun. Let's see. All right, Rivers, see you later, man. How did you kill your most recent player? So like my entire youngling group, they're teenagers. I think they're all about 14 or 15 years old. There are 4 of them. They all just TPK'd. They TPK'd to a Death Lord, is what I think they are. It's similar to a Lich, and they all just TPK'd. I killed them with that monster, pretty much. And then it's funny because like two of them went down, and they were down. And then the other 2 were like, we're getting out of here, and they started running away. But the Death Lord has Dimension Door. And so I had the Death Lord Dimension Door in front of them, and then when they were running away, they ran into the Death Lord, and he's like, hello, and then he killed both of them too. And so we had a total TPK. I'm evil. And then like two of the players, they already had characters ready to go, and they're like, okay, here we go, we're ready to go, and the other two are going to roll them up, so. I've never played Undertale, don't know what that is. Batata, hello, how you doing? Oh my gosh, pancake soup, I had it totally correct. That's awesome. Burgosaurus Rex says, thoughts on using deadly traps? Are they cheap? So check this out. Yes, they are. Traps are kind of like a DM screw job in a way, because if it's a super deadly trap, and the player's just walking along all happy, and then they run into a trap, and then you're just like, make dexterity saving throws, and they're just like, and then make their saves, and then fail, and then you're just like, here's tons of damage, take tons of damage. That feels kind of like a DM screw job to me, so traps are a little cheap. So what I do, generally speaking, is first of all, I put traps in places that it's reasonable to expect a trap, chests, usually, doors and stuff like that. The other thing that I do as well is, what was I going to say? Somebody just walked by my conference room and distracted me. I give little hints or something, like, there might be a hallway, that stretches, and then there's a dead body in the middle of it that's all burnt up to a char. That's a hint that something happened, or you allude to it, or through your flavor description, you kind of hint that something's weird about a place, but it's very subtle. I try to make it, the dead body all burnt up is not subtle. That's part of an extended trap, where they actually, that first trap they're supposed to find it, which kind of lowers their guard, and then there's a worse trap after that one that they don't anticipate because they think they found the real trap, but what they found was like the fake trap. But anyway, that's a different story. So yeah, put little hints in the flavor text when you're describing places that will hint that there might be a trap there, and then that makes traps feel like they're less of a DM screw job. Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this name. Anastasia, hello, welcome. Ben Gorman, straight evil. Yeah. The subscriber, hello subscriber. If players suggest that something happens and everyone enjoys it, is it okay to let it happen even if it kind of breaks the game? It depends on what it is, dude. If they're like, we throw a party, we throw a feast and stuff, and everybody has fun, I don't have a problem with that sort of thing. It really depends on what it is, man. Requiem, I don't know what it is. I can't speak. What should I do if two players don't get along outside of the game, but both are good role players in game? I mean, if they are not interfering with your game, like if your game is progressing and it's okay and it's not causing a problem for your game, then I don't really care. Like if my players like or don't like each other outside the game. But if their dislike for each other outside the game is interfering with the actual game, and it's introducing like disharmony and like strife and like tension in the actual game itself with the other players, and that's a problem, and I'm going to talk to them because that's not cool, So it really depends. How would you go about dealing with characters that are identical twins? I don't know. I would just role play. I would role play it the way that makes sense to me. Well, that's my answer. Tribal Banana, how would you go about making the party feel morally conflicted about fighting a villain? I mean, so like most villains, most evil people in the world, even in real life, don't think they're evil, and most people that are doing evil things usually have good reasons for doing it, and they can justify, and they can probably tell you why this is actually an okay thing. Let's just pretend like I'm like massacring an entire race. I might believe that, look at this race is responsible for past atrocities, and it will continue to happen unless I wipe them off the face of the earth. Like I could justify it. And so basically, if you want defeating a villain to be somewhat morally ambiguous, then you have to present the villain in a way that, sure, he's doing some evil things, but as the players kind of get to know him or understand him more, then he finally is presented as somebody who's actually he's doing these things, but it's for this cause. He's maybe not, so it's like, there's like, shades of gray to how evil he actually is and stuff. So I think it has to do with the villain's motives, What kind of music do I listen to? I listen to lots of different types of music. Pop music. I listen to rock music, alternative. I don't know. I don't listen to rap because I can't stand the lyrics of rap. rap lyrics are usually just abysmal, horrible lyrics and lots of bad words that I can't stand. I can't stand country music. Country music, it's like, come on, it all sounds the same. Give you something. I'm like offending a bunch of people right now. Uh-oh, uh-oh. All right. What else we got? I'm just like clicking through here. Oh, so Robert Morris Jr. wants to know what my convention schedule looks like. Okay, so this year I'm planning on going to 4 different conventions. I'm going to be at Marmalade Dog, which is coming up pretty soon. I think Marmalade Dog is in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It is over Easter weekend. And then I'm going to be at Gen Con this year, so you guys all can look that up. That's like, whatever. Gen Con, you know it. And then I'm going to be at, what is it called? Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then the 4th convention I'll be at is the Nerdarchy convention that is going to be in, where is that? Pennsylvania. Where is that in Pennsylvania? I don't know. Look up Nerdarchy convention. You guys can Google it, So I'll be at that. So those are the 4 conventions I'll be at this year. So it's kind of spaces them out throughout the year a little bit. Juice Mito, what up? Run the Jewels. The reference is Star Trek. Oh, nice. Oh, what are my other... Okay, so Guapo. So what are my other pets' names? Okay, are you ready? It's all cats. So we have Guapo, Orange, Squeaky, Squirty Pie, and Mommy. Okay, those are the cats that live in the basement primarily. They can roam throughout the rest of the house, but they're mostly in the basement because you have Tay-Tay, who is a little monster and terrorizes the other ones and makes them stay in the basement. So Tay-Tay pretty much owns the 1st floor and the 2nd floor of the house. And my other 5 cats are all cowards, and they live in the basement, pretty much. Although they can go elsewhere if they want to. But Tay-Tay tries to kill them, murder them, and she keeps them down in the basement. And then we have 3 outdoor cats as well that live outdoors because we have far too many inside. The 3 outdoor cats are called Mommy, Little Guy, and Little Girl. However, my daughter just gave the outdoor cats names, and the names are now Tortellini, Ravioli. Tortellini, I think, is the little girl. Ravioli is the little guy, the boy cat. And then the mommy is called Gnocchi or Gnocchi or something. They're all noodles. They're all types of noodles. Yeah, yeah. For the longest time, we didn't even name, like, we even have one cat in our basement called Mommy. It's like we couldn't think of a name, so we're just like, well, she's the mommy cat, so we're going to call her Mommy. Pasta cats, yeah. Danny says, what's the first thing you want to see from Wizard? I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you mean, dude? Yeah, I can't, yeah, ReaperCon, dude, there's so many conventions, I can't go to them all. And then there's like the PAX Unplugged and all this kind of bull crap. It's like, dude, I can only go to so many things. I got to pick my battles. And I like going to the local ones in Michigan because I can drive to them. It's local to me, and I've been to them before, and I enjoy going to them. They're fun. Like, they're kind of smallish conventions, but it's nice to go to a small convention and just be able to play the games as opposed to dealing with all the crowd and logistics and crap. You know what I mean? So... Yeah, but I don't know, I know Wizards of the Coast Wizard, but like, what do you mean? What do I want? What's the next thing I want from them? You mean like as a book or something? As a book? Like, what do I want from Wizards of the Coast as a book? I mean, I'll always take more monster books. I will always take more monster. And I like the way they did Volo's Guide to Monsters. I have a meeting coming up, so I got to make sure I don't miss my meeting. I like the way they did Volo's Guide to Monsters because there was a bunch of lore about the monsters at the very beginning of the book. I loved that. I love monster lore. That's what inspires me to like make campaigns and adventures about certain monsters because I read the lore and I'm just like, oh, this is so good. Yeah, I love how they did Volo's, and then they had the second half was pretty much a bunch of different monsters. So I thought that was really cool. I did not particularly like how they did Morning Kingdom's Tome of Foes. So the first half of the book was a bunch of lore as well, and we got to learn about devils and demons and like get the Yankee and get Sarai, and I thought that was really cool. But then it went into like elves and halflings and gnomes and dwarves, and I was like, you know what? I don't really care about the lore for like playable races. I want to know the lore of monsters. That's what, as a dungeon master, I really want. Now, the second half of the book of Morning Kingdoms of Foes was great because you had a bunch of high-level monsters in it. That was awesome. But I didn't like how they were mixing in like playable races crap in that book. And I get why they did it. I do, because they're trying, so it's a marketing tactic. So like if you make a book that only appeals to dungeon masters, you have a very small part of your marketing base that's going to buy that book. If you make a book that has stuff in it that will also appeal to players, then you're going to have, your entire base of customers is going to be interested in buying that book. So I 100% understand why they built Morning King's Tome of Foes the way they did. It wasn't super used. I mean, I would have loved to get rid of all the bull crap of playable races, put that in a different book for players, and I would just get my Dungeon Master crap. But I understand why they're doing it. It's like a business decision, which makes sense to me. I can appreciate that. As a consumer, I don't necessarily like it, but as a businessman, I can appreciate that decision. Aaron Heidenreich, what up, dude? Do you think bow disadvantage makes sense at short range? Like if you're point blank with somebody and you're gonna have disadvantage on it, absolutely. It's so easy to block. Like if I'm within 5 feet, this is a concept too with like firearms. A firearm super close to somebody, there's a danger that person can, like there's simple disarm techniques and stuff. Like I took a little bit of martial arts to learn some stupid bullcrap that'll probably get me killed someday when I try it. But when you're really close with a firearm or a bow or something, then it's easier for that person to misdirect it, direct it, or something like that. When you're dealing with a ranged weapon, you want to have distance between the person. Actually at close quarters, a knife is a better weapon than a firearm, one could argue. So we're not going to get into that right now. So specifically, yes, if you're within 5 feet, I think it perfectly makes sense to have disadvantage on a ranged attack. If you're going to have disadvantage because you're within like 10 feet or 15 feet or something, nah, I think I would just follow the rules. I think the rules are fine. Just the way that Wizards wrote them in the book with regards to that stuff are perfectly fine to me. Yes, James, you're right. He says 22 feet can be closed by an opponent with a knife in the time it takes to draw, aim, and shoot a gun. Yeah, I've seen those studies or videos as well. And the trick there is that the person drawing the gun needs to cut an angle as he's drawing that gun so that the person with the knife has to constantly redirect to go after him. You know what I mean? But so that's part of the trick to that. But you're right. Yeah, there have been studies on that. Like, it's person with the knife is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Whew. I don't know. I would almost rather have a dude with a gun as long as I had some cover than a guy with a knife coming after me. I don't know. Knives are very, very terrifying. Let me see. What other questions here? Unit 01, hello. I have a little question. All of my current players but one absolutely refuse to take notes about the session and constantly forget NPC names and important information. How do I deal with that? You don't. You just say, you guys are all screwed. I don't care. I do not give my players detailed information that they forget or fail to take notes on. That is their problem, and they will hang themselves on it. That's how I view it. Now, I will do a quick recap of super, super high-level important information. Like, at the beginning of every game session, we'll have a little recap where the players will usually describe what was going on. If I feel they left out some important information, I will fill it in. So I'm not going to let them totally be like, we don't remember who the big bad person is, or we don't remember where we're supposed to go for the next quest. What was the name of that town? I'm going to tell them basic information like that. If it was an NPC's name, I'm probably going to remind them of the NPC's name. But I'm not going to remind them of all the little details, because if they forgot, then we'll just say that your characters forgot. So high-level stuff, I'm going to remind them because I want to make sure they have enough information to actually play the game in a meaningful way. But all the little details, they're going to have to live with it if they forget it and don't take notes. And for the most part, all those little details, a lot of them can be classified as fluff that aren't super important, and it's understandable why they wouldn't write them down. Others of those little details might be important, but they're not necessarily game-breaking if you forget them, if that makes sense. How would you deal with players playing identical twins? Should they be played by the same player? No. 2 players can play identical twins. I don't see any problem with that. Yes, a +1 bow works the same as a +1 sword. It gives a +1 to both your to hit and to the damage. Have you played Bloodborne? Nope. Yeah, I have a meeting. I have a meeting in 10 minutes, so I just need 5 minutes to go do it and I'll be fine. All right, pancake soup. See you later, buddy. Sounds like you're leaving. Go make some pancakes. How should I how should I start out with writing a campaign? I always start out by brainstorming and making an outline or taking notes or understanding what's going on or something. But I have 2 videos on my channel called Campaign Creation, Part 1 and Part 2. I would go look at those. Those will probably get you off on the right foot. How do you feel? Oh, what was this one? Professor Watt says, how do you feel about the addition of the grung? I think they're cool. When I saw them, I was like, these are super cool. I used them like a couple years ago with my youngling group. I thought they were really sweet. Hexblade Warlock? I don't think I have any tips for you. Like, I'm mostly a dungeon master. Like, I'm not the one to ask for player tips. I have played a Hexblade Warlock for like 1 or 2 game sessions before I got him killed. So, but it was pretty cool. I really like Hexblade Warlocks. They're really fun. I know, Keith, that sucks, but you're here now, and that's what's important. What's my opinion on playing post-apocalyptic settings? I think it's fine. Go for it, man. I don't know. You did not trigger a rant. What do I use for maps? Grid paper. Like, when I'm making maps for the games that I play in person, I draw my maps on grid paper, and then I have, what do you want to call them? The big battle maps that you can use dry erase markers on for when you put the minis and stuff on them. I use what everybody else uses. There's actually a link. I'm pretty sure there is a link down in the description of all my videos to my Amazon storefront or something where I list out all of the different products that I use. And so if you're interested in seeing exactly what I use, you can go over there and take a look at that. All right, cool, Keith. I'm glad you like the videos, man. Have I ever used Dungeon Train? Yeah, I have some Dungeon Train that I put up every so often. I don't spend a lot of time setting up Dungeon Train because it bogs down the game. Like, if I'm like pulling out of my tackle box all this different terrain to put it up there, it takes a while to put that up there, and that's slowing the game down and stuff. So I use it, but not a whole ton. Cool, Gilbert. My meeting is it's a team meeting. You don't want to know what it's about. It's nothing anybody is. And I appreciate becoming a patron, man. That's cool, man. I appreciate anybody, all folks who become members and patrons, support the stream and stuff like that. You guys are all awesome. I do appreciate that. Map design, I draw nothing. If I'm designing a map for a dungeon or something, then usually I'll go online and look at other maps and get inspiration and stuff. I do not create my own worlds. I run all of my games in Forgotten Realms. And if I didn't run it in Forgotten Realms, I would run my games in a different world that somebody had already made. As a dungeon master who has a limited amount of time, I spend my time creating the adventures my players go on. I don't have time to create an entire world as well, and I don't think that it's a good use of my time. Not when there are other people that have already created lots of worlds that I can use. Now, of course, the same argument can be made, why do you homebrew your adventures and not just use modules? And I have reasons that I prefer homebrewing to some extent, but we don't have time for that right now. How do I deal with a player that tries to loot mid-fight? You just attack him, dude. And it's probably more difficult to loot while you're fighting somebody, He keeps getting attacked, and it's gonna be more difficult to loot. Like, if you're trying to loot somebody while he's still alive and in the fight could very well trigger an attack of opportunity, I think, if you're doing something extremely foolish. So those are some thoughts. I've never had a player try to loot stuff mid-combat. That just seems kind of crazy. Jews Middle, what's the meanest thing your cats have ever done to you or anyone else? Meow. My cat Guapo bit me once. He bit me on my hand right here, and I was getting an infection, like running up my arm. I had to go get an IV to put antibiotics in me, because it was a bad infection apparently. He bit me. I was trying to put him into a cat carrier so that we could go to the vet. What was he doing? I don't know what he was doing. He had to go to the vet for something, and he bit me. And I'm like, that's great. What a punk. That's probably the worst thing my cats have ever done. Guapo does not like to be put in cat carriers. Let's just say that. I don't have a favorite monster type. I love them all. They're like my children. How do I get a player to use something other than Fireball? I wouldn't sweat it, dude. I wouldn't sweat it. It's not worth your time. Like, players love Fireball. It's like one of the best spells in the game. Why wouldn't they love it? It does good. It's a 3rd level spell. Does lots of damage. It's AOE. It's a great spell. Players are gonna love that spell. I would not spend a moment of my time trying to stop my players from using Fireball. I would just do my thing as a dungeon master. I don't have enough time to worry about what they're doing. I'm just gonna plan my enemies, what my enemies are gonna do. What do you think? Do you think there should be a 5.5 edition? What changes will you make? I don't think so. I think 5th edition is fine. I don't see any problems with 5th edition, and I hope that they never make another edition. There will always be another edition. It's a marketing thing. It's a business decision. There will be a 6th edition. It will happen eventually. Once Wizards of the Coast feels that they have pretty much built out a large library of content for 5th edition, and they feel that sales are stagnating or something, and they need to freshen things up, they will absolutely create a 6th edition. And it will have nothing to do with any deficiencies in 5th edition. It will have 100% to do with being a business decision and making money because they are a company that needs to stay in business, that's not a knock against them. That's a 100% valid thing that companies need to do. They need to be, if they don't focus on making money, then they go out of business, and then nobody benefits from their products. And so, but there will be a 6th edition, and it will be a business and marketing decision. It will have nothing to do with whether it's needed or not. So yeah, whatever. Okay, I think I have to go to my meeting now. So we are ending this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you guys. Remember, Friday, we're going to have a live stream on Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. We're going to be creating some random encounters together, so creating encounters. That'll be lots of fun, and yeah. We might keep doing this. I had a lunchtime stream last week. We might do one next week. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So, yeah. Thanks, everybody. And I'm leaving now. Goodbye.